Welcome back to Diablo 2. Today is another day and we're doing more randomizer stuff. Yay! We're gonna actually probably finish this Paladin relatively quickly. We've done pretty much most of the difficulties and we've done half the game basically. Half of a full playthrough in about, I want to say, what? 5 hours? So, yeah. We're doing pretty good. We're currently in Nightmare Act 3. And yeah, we've set it to Players 8 again. Just putting that up there so you guys know that yes, it is actually Players 8 still, despite the fact that we're kind of churning through it super quickly. I am tempted to do a full Players 8 run-through with a character as well. Well, I say run-through. A playthrough. We're not going to just run from everything, but that would be a little bit harder in vanilla because you wouldn't have ungodly random stuff like we currently have here. I could probably do it a little bit easier if I could transfer gear in, which we might do. Don't know yet. We'll see. But yeah, we're on the randomizer now. Players 8, not doing any kind of like multiplied quantity of enemies or anything like that. But hey, we got a Lum Rune. Wow, that's actually kind of an uncommon drop. But that does confirm, hey, we can get Lum Runes in Act 3 Nightmare. I was right. Someone was asking where they can farm Lum Runes, and yeah, Act 3 Nightmare is a pretty good spot for it. I was like, my brain was telling me, yeah, you probably can do it in Act 3 Lower Cuirass, because I think that's around the right level. I mean, I don't have the area levels memorized, but it's not bad. And you should be able to get them from Nightmare Chests. For those of you wondering, I mentioned it earlier in this run. I'm going to mention it again real quick. Lower Cuirass does function the same way in other difficulties. It's just, hey, and we got another Bone Helm again. Yay, we don't need that. It's Worm Skull. So, yeah. Nothing here. Actually, the path could be... Nope, it's not. But yeah, brain fart, completely lost there. But anywho, yeah, you can get Lum from Lower Cuirass. It's not that big of a deal. It's okay. But let's go ahead and get some more life. And should I have gotten more dexterity? I think I was going to get more dexterity for that dagger. I completely forgot. Someone's going to get pissed at me for it. It's fine. Let's go for Zeal. And yes, we are getting completely ripped apart there. Of course, we get it all back just by a little bit of killing. Or even amp damage, and it's just like, I don't care too much. It's just kind of smacking my face. So, bonk. Oh, and we need to repair. I forgot to repair. Dang it. And Heratli is so far away. No. We could actually just swap weapons. We have the Skewer of Crinets here. Yeah, we lose static field on there, but does it really matter? A little bit. We lose a decent amount of damage, but right now we're doing enough damage that it's not that big of a deal. So, nuke everything. And yeah, we just have to find the eyeball, the brain, all that kind of stuff. We only have to do this act one more time in this randomizer. Kind of like do a mental countdown. Ooh, we have not seen Arcana's helmet yet. Are you any good? Bone Spear on striking, increased attack speed, enhanced damage, cold damage, and max resists. Bone Spear would be kind of fun. But I think we're honestly... well, we do lose some resist. What would we be at after that? Oh, we'd be at negative resist. Oh, God, no. That's a no-go. What is the mercenary using? I think he's using something with, yeah, static field on it. Which is pretty much the only thing making him useful as far as damage output goes. Yeah, he's giving us a boost. If we can find a high damage weapon, we can actually be a lot happier as well. So, and we are looking for Flawless Diamond or Gem Shrines, but there's Arachnid's Lair. That means that the waypoint should be up over here. Yeah, there it is. It's on the map, Alzarath. You can see it. So, press Q to clear that out. Yeah, I wish there was a way to disable the pop-up. Hey, Popito. I'm going to mispronounce your name about 7 times before I actually get it down in my head. And I apologize for that. It's not meant to be rude, but my brain does not do names very well. But, yeah. Doing alright today? Popito? +5 all skills. Oh, Jeebus. Enchant on striking, enhanced damage, plus % maximum damage. I think this might actually beat that one out. Doesn't have ignore target defense, but it's got resist all. We've got plus a bunch of skills. We got the Meng Song's gloves there. You got one item that's only 30k people have on... Oh, cool. Oh, Flawless Emerald. I need Flawless Diamond. I heard the gem drop and I was hopeful. But unfortunately, hope will not make this actually functional. Barbed Club we have not seen yet. That's going to be Life Tap on Striking, which is good. Frankly, I think we might go with this instead of the Skewer. Skewer's kind of funny, but this might actually be better than General Tandaliga's Flail. Interesting. It is a bit more damage as well. It's less damage than General Tandaliga's, but... Oh, you got Malice... Spite... Okay, you got Malice on your sword and Spirit. Nice. Hey, Riss, how's it going? Oh, sorting out all... Yeah, that... It sucks whenever something breaks in your description. I have been there. I like being notified of it early in a series so I can fix it, but I fail horribly. But lurk away, good friend. Lurk away. And you're welcome. I'm actually glad that you got Spirit kind of going there. Malice is a good rune word. I wouldn't necessarily say it's the best rune word ever, but it's good. It's consistently good, and there are a lot of tricks that, oddly enough, are kind of based on its use. A lot of people overlook it because the life drain. They're like, ew, life drain. That sucks. And really, life drain is not a terrible thing. You can counter it pretty easily. If you're really worried about it, you can actually even counter it by just getting an Act 2 Mercenary with Prayer. But then you don't have Holy Freeze or anything like that. Fanaticism, level 15. I think we're going to be going Fanaticism ourselves. So that's not going to be... I mean, we could go Concentration with Fanaticism on the Mercenary. Feral Rage, Meteor when you die. Honestly, if it had enhanced damage, it'd be a little bit better. But we'll see. I'm not liking two-handed weapons on myself, but a Act 5 Mercenary could use that sword kind of effectively, I think. And I think our eyeball is actually going to be on the bottom half. I'm just going along the top half to see if... Well, actually, I shouldn't even be going along the top half now. I was just going to go down to the end, check if that was a path to Flayer, and hope for the best. Because I'd rather not go through... Hey, it is a path to the Flayer, so end is Flayer. So we have a good start here. But yeah, honestly, if you need help learning the game, I am more than glad to help people learn how to play the game, like the basics and stuff like that. I just got to be careful not to give misinformation. The URL shortener that you were using to bundle links together was given... Oh, 500... Oh, God. So yeah, I guess they did go under. I think I used to use the Google link shortener for playlists just because it was cleaner, but they made it commercial only. So I'm not big enough to justify using it for commercial purposes. Because that, if I remember correctly, it costs money to use it now with that. I could be wrong. It might just not work at all anymore. But hopefully they do keep the old links still alive. I know that there's... On some of them, there's actually a... I don't think the Google one is this way, but on some link shorteners, there's a requirement that it be used a certain amount over X period of time, and that does sometimes end up with, you know, issues. Because you end up with a link not getting used for ages, and then people start getting sent to, like, a random porn site or something like that. Which is not a good thing. That also happens whenever just, like, sometimes a game will have a website, and then after a few years that website goes down because the company doesn't want to pay it for it anymore. They're not getting profit on it, and it ends up going to, like, some, like, fake Bitcoin mining site. I learned last night that you can give your mercenary pot. Yep. Shift click. Well, shift right click. So you can also just shift and number as well to give them the potion from the belt. It's really handy. Does help keep them alive, but for the most part, mercenaries are kamikaze until you get really good gear for them. Late game gear can make them pretty insanely powerful, and like the Infinity Mercenaries I use on a lot of my elemental builds is pretty strong. Reaper's Toll builds are pretty nasty as well. As far as just being a lot of damage and a lot of amplification of your own abilities. I generally don't build mercenaries to go on their own, though, which is possible. It is possible to make some extremely strong. Leave any links created with Google shortener still work, but you can't create those links anymore. Yeah, that's how it is right now. I wouldn't put it past Google shutting down that functionality as well, which would suck, because then a lot of my old videos would be kind of borked there. You need something that helps with physical immunity on it. Reaper's Toll is a good one for that. Reaper's Toll is... I can't remember whether it's exceptional or elite. Unique. But it casts Decrepify randomly if you're using an Act 2 mercenary. If you're using an Act 5 mercenary, you can actually make a rune word with Sanctuary on it that has Decrepify as well. There are other options. I mean, you can get Amplify damage cast from a few things as well. Meditation Aura, Enhanced Damage, Crushing Blow. I think do I prefer the Life Tap and Resist, or do I prefer the Meditation Aura? Do we just, like, stack up on, like, all the auras in the game or something? Is that what we do? Is that what we do with this? Our Resists are actually not terrible right now. Mercenary's doing his thing over there. Damage difference is not much. I mean, we have the +5 all skills with resists gloves, so there's not really too much that's scary. Life Tap. Okay, Life Tap. Do you know the basic function of Life Leech, by the way? Before I dive into it, because that's a huge factor in it. But basically, I'll just explain both of them. Bitly used to have a bundle functionality for multiple links in one, but of course they got rid of it because, low usage. Hey, kind of like the auto-ad feature for playlists on YouTube. Sorry for getting cynical there. So you know the basic functionality of Life Leech. How I'll just explain it for posterity's sake then, since other people will probably be watching this. Life Leech. The breakdown. After I look at this. Ew, that's garbage. We'll keep that. What am I? Oh, I am full in there. Oops. Keep that. Death's Hand can go away. But anyway, Life Leech functions on the amount of physical damage that you do. So if I'm doing like 700, let's make it some nice round numbers. Let's say I am making, God, another lumber. Don't need another one. But let's say I'm doing 1,000 damage, 1,000 physical damage, and I have 10% Life Leech. That gives me 100 Life Leech against an enemy with 0 physical resistance. If they have physical resistance, like 50% physical resistance, I'm only doing 500 damage, therefore I would only get 50 life. So, it is based on the amount of damage that you do. Now, Life Leech, on equipment, is actually a lot more limited than people realize. I mean, it affects most of the enemies in the game, but let's say you're fighting Radamant with all his skeletons. Unfortunately, Life Leech does not work on skeletons because they're toggled off Life Leech. They just, it's not valid on them. Basically, any just normal Life Leech just straight up won't function on them. Now, Life Tap is a effect that is set on the enemy. So, any physical damage you do to them will go to you as life, which functions differently than Life Leech, which is you get life back based on the damage you do. So, is that any good? That is not. So, Life Tap allows you to do that with just, allows you to leech from things that you normally wouldn't. There are also other things that are impacted by this. Because one thing that you may not know, some people know this, some people don't. It depends on how familiar you are with paladins. There is a paladin skill called Smite, where you smack things with your shield. It is right there. It's an extremely powerful skill. It always hits if the enemy is still in range. It can be set up to do a reasonable amount of damage. It carries some on-strike functionality with it. Not a lot, but it can like do things like cast on strike, which is one of the reasons why a lot of people get life tap on strike with their smiter builds. Because, guess what? The smite cannot carry life leech from your equipment with it, but due to life tap functioning as an effect on the enemy rather than a life leech effect, you actually restore life from the physical damage you do with leech. I mean, with smite. So it is pretty much the only way for smiters to leech, period. There is no mana equivalent, unfortunately. So and I think it's 50%, if I remember correctly. Just off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure it is 50%. So if you did like 1,000 damage, you'd leech back 500. If it was physical. Mantled heal. Oh, we already have one of those, don't we? Yeah, minus 5% lightning resist. It's on our inventory, I believe. We do need more dexterity. We keep going too low on dexterity. Let's go and get Zeal. Okay. And Crushing Blow, Deadly Strike, and Open Wounds. I'm trying to remember how Open Wounds damage is decided. I actually forget that one just off the top of my head. I used to have it memorized back in the day. I just use Open Wounds now. Whenever I'm trying to do cheese on some of the bosses. But Open Wounds functions kind of like poison, but you actually have to be able to damage the enemy to apply it. And it does, if I remember correctly, physical damage. It's a little bit of a complicated little thing, but it does also prevent healing while it's ticking along, just like poison does. Basically, and yes, even non-fleshy creatures can have open wounds. That's why you'll see blood coming from skeletons, and it is possible to get open wounds on things that don't bleed, if that makes sense. So you will see things that aren't bleeding, but their life is still creeping down. You can even get it on like physical immunes and stuff like that, but the effects vary based on the situation. So, but yeah, it's just damage over time. Deadly Strike and Critical Strike. I'm gonna just overlap those because they're both double damage effects. Only one can trigger at a time. So if you get a Deadly Strike triggering, you can't also get a Critical Strike, so you cannot get like 4 times damage or anything like that. But Deadly Strike, ooh, that's a Tal Rasha's, or probably going to be all Paladin skills. Just saying that. Deadly Strike is basically a % chance of just getting double physical damage. And it's pretty powerful. It's just a nice thing to have. It comes quietly on a lot of skills and equipment, weapon masteries. There's some passives on the Amazon that do it. Well, a passive. And yeah, it just kind of comes along with all the rest of your stuff. And you can see whenever it triggers. It's a little bit less obvious than when the other on-strike effects happen, but we do have a little bit of Deadly Strike on here. I don't know if we can actually see it over all the other stuff that I'm doing. But there's a little spark that lands on him whenever you trigger a Deadly Strike, and it is just double physical damage. Not as powerful as other attack modifiers. It's probably the weakest of the 3 you asked for. Critical Strike, like I said, functions the exact same way. And I already said that they can't stack, right? You can't get 4 times. But let's see. The other one is Crushing Blow. Crushing Blow does % damage, like % of enemy life damage to them. Really good versus bosses. When it triggers, you'll see like a pinkish orange kind of like... It looks like Bash from the Barbarian, basically. That kind of graphic. You can also see it if you fought the giant Urdars. They do a little graphic on them that is the same thing as well. And yes, they do share graphics between Bash and Crushing Blow. But Crushing Blow does a % of damage to the enemies based on their maximum life. No, wait, it's based on their current life, sorry. Brain fart there. But yeah, percent based on current life. So if they have, I forget what percent it is too. It's a pretty decent chunk. But yeah, crushing blow, percent of current life. With ranged attacks, it is worth noting that crushing blow is reduced effectiveness. So it's only a fraction of like crushing blow on melee. So a character hitting with a melee attack getting crushing blow, they get 2 crushing blows, they're going to be doing a lot more damage than an Amazon shooting a bow attack at them and getting crushing blows at the same rate. It would take, I'm trying to remember what percent. I think it's a quarter effectiveness or an 1/8 effectiveness for ranged. So many things just start overlapping after a while. Now, as far as the percent chances to trigger them, that they're additive. So you don't have, like, say, a 30%, 30%, 30%, 30% chance. That would be a 120% chance, but so basically a 100% chance there. Let's say you had 2 pieces of equipment with 30% chance of crushing blow. You would not check twice for it. It wouldn't say there's a 30% chance of crushing blow and then another 30% chance. Instead, it would be there's a 60% chance of crushing blow because it adds A and B. If you are dual wielding with a barbarian, crushing blow only functions on the weapon that you are currently striking with. So if you have 2 swords, one with crushing blow, one without, the second sword will have a lower chance of crushing blow than the first sword whenever it's hit. So, yeah. And that works for Deadly Strike, Open Wounds, Critical Strike, stuff like that. But generally speaking, I don't worry about Deadly Strike. Deadly Strike is just kind of like, it's nice to have, but not super important, and I should have put that in Dexterity. Same for Critical. They're good, but they're not amazing. But Crushing Blow is insanely powerful for just brawling a boss down. Open Wounds is good whenever you have enemies that heal, such as like super uniques and stuff like that you're having trouble with. It can help mitigate their healing or prevent it. And it's good for dealing with bosses that are a lot stronger than you. Like if you are having trouble beating Bale, they use this for speedruns. They'll get a Poison Flail and a Malice. That gives them a chance of bleeding and poison, but they have like a terrible chance to hit. So most of those attacks aren't going to hit, so the damage on the weapon doesn't matter. They're going to instead be going for poison and bleed to kind of wear Bale down over time. So that's how that works. Hopefully that was clear enough. Obviously, if I was going to write a guide over that kind of stuff, I would want to sit down and hash out like all the percents and stuff like that, because I really don't remember all of them off the top of my head. I play too many different games. Do we keep this? It's about the same damage. About, give or take. Crushing Blow, Open Wounds. And yes, if you have a 100% chance of Open Wounds, you're going to cause a bunch of Open Wounds. No problem. Let's see. I'll go ahead and sell these. We're not going to use that because he's going to be too low level. Not too level. It's going to be too low damage. Sorry. Vigor Aura when equipped. Kind of tempting. Although I think I prefer the 2 that we have. That does, yeah, minus 55% enemy lightning resist. Replenish life. But yeah, getting over 100% on any of them is pointless. I do still want to play around with that dagger, so we're going to get rid of Skewer Crinets. We need to clear out our inventory a little bit. I know some people are like, ew, gross. You have so much crap in your inventory. I just want to try it all. It's randomized, so it's like, that seems like it'd be fun. I almost tried to go to the next area just then, because I'm special. Sorry, I had to get a drink there. But yeah, there's a lot of, like, oddities in Diablo 2 as well. I'm actually really glad to hear that Diablo 2 Resurrected, they're anticipating, I don't know if it'll make it into the final product, it should, considering they already kind of said it in an interview. You should be able to import your single-player characters into Diablo 2 Resurrected, which is going to be nice. And also, it leads me to think maybe, just possibly maybe, you might... Was that better or worse? I think that's worse. Fire skill damage, fire damage, crushing blow, corpse explosion? God. No, we don't need corpse explosion. But I'm looking forward to being able to just import my characters and actually play through it. That would be really good. If I can get into the alpha test, that would be a really good kind of thing to just show off things in the game. Because I have several, like, late game characters that could show off pretty much most of the, like, interesting builds that people do now. I mean, I don't have all the builds made. That requires a lot more patience, but still. Steel driver, amplify damage on striking is nice. A bunch of resists. No extra damage on it, unfortunately. We've already seen that one, haven't we? Yeah, we've already seen steel driver. So that's going to go in there. We have all the stuff we need to upgrade a unique belt. So we can upgrade Blade Buckle if we want to, or we can upgrade Lenimo. Diablo 3, I played it a little bit. I was playing it through with Mr. Gablin for a while. But I generally prefer Diablo 2 over Diablo 3. Diablo 2 feels like I'm way more invested in the characters that I make, which is part of it for me. I know some people are like, it's just a loot fest. You should just worry about that. I like playing Diablo 2 because I like experimenting and investing in the characters. In Diablo 3, it's literally you just aim for the strongest gear and throw whatever skills you feel like that week on, whatever's the flavor of the week build. But the core game of Diablo 3, I do want to eventually get through with all the characters. I have not beaten it with all the characters. I've beaten it with Necromancer and Barbarian. That said, I did put off even playing Diablo 3 for a long time because I was kind of salty about my initial experience with it. And also, it has improved over the years, so when it first released, it was just kind of meh. I do find people getting quite so upset over the real money auction house to be kind of silly, but like, does it really matter what somebody else has equipped? It really doesn't. Ooh, that's Blade of Alibaba. We haven't seen that one yet. So, Blade of Alibaba. Stat-wise, not amazing. Let's see. No pickup. There we go. And if you're wondering what no pickup does, some people might be questioning that. You notice I can mouse over this stuff and it won't try to pick it up. I have to alt to pick stuff up. Really useful command there. So up we go to Cuirass. So let's go ahead and talk to him a little bit. Hi, Kalim's Eye. Fortunate Kalim's Brain. Just so he doesn't have to do like a whole million-mile dialogue next time. Do we need anything from you? I will grab scrolls. Because we do burn through a lot of the identify scrolls. Sorry, I had to crack my neck there. It was getting a little stiff. So let's see. I think I want to go... yeah, I have to go up and around. But, yeah, the next area will just be at the end of Flayer Jungle, so it's literally just run right now. There we go. Sorry, I was looking over at something. But, yeah, I'm trying to remember what class I was playing through with Gablin on Diablo 3. I really don't remember. I think it was... I think I was playing a monk. In vanilla Diablo 2, no, you cannot open the cow level if you kill the cow king. Unfortunately. Project Diablo 2... disables that. A lot of mods disable that. Just because it's commonly seen as just being kind of meh.